gentlemen, we got to get into the second half of this show. And obviously, we normally do 90 minutes on this show. It's probably going to go a pinch longer simply because, well, we have four people on the panel, three of which are community members that have bombastic opinions that I want you to hear. And I do want to go right immediately to Crispy Bomb. Crispy, in front of me is a story that was put out there on February 19th, just a couple of days ago. It was written by Francisco De Mayo. He works and he's one of the journos over at WCCF Tech. And the lead title for his article says this, ladies and gentlemen: Gears of War E-Day has been in active development for over 5 years. Now, it goes on to say, as reported on X by VGT Gaming News, the game's senior level designer revealed on LinkedIn that the new entry into the popular series has been in active development for over 5 years and 2 months already. As such, its release may not be too far into the future. Now, again, this comes the way of VGT. Go please follow them. They are a newly created gaming news site, and they are friends of the channel. And I do like the work that they do over there. Well, listen, again, this is just my opinion, subject to change, of course. But we've been hearing since last year, and you are Mr. Gears. So that's why I went to you first. Right? We know that we have potentially 2 different Gears of War projects releasing at some point, right? We know for a fact that Gears of War E-Day that shocked and awed everyone around the world last year when it was shown off for the first time during the Xbox June showcase. I was ass in seat, and I'm still baffled that I got a chance to see that in person. Just unbelievable. But of course, there is the rumored Unreal Engine 5 Marcus Phoenix collection. Now, does the chicken come before the egg or the egg before the chicken? I'm not sure. But I personally think, and of course, please, but anyone on the panel in the chat, push back if you think I'm being too forward-thinking or facetious. I think that this delay ultimately makes room for the rumored Gears of War E-Day to release this year. I think what this does is open the door wide for it. Now, whether it does release this year or it's next year, and that's just another ridiculous banger in 26, either way, Xbox gamers, #win. #Xbox better? I think so. Let's get your thoughts, man.
Yeah, boom. As far as this goes with E-Day, it gives me several things to think of. One, I'm super, I can't express my joy of Unreal enough. And I know Coalition is going to turn out something crazy. That it's been 5 years in development, a surprise. Did not expect that. When they showcased this last year, my thinking was, okay, they just really started on this once we heard about them putting those 2 games aside that they were working on. And I'm sure you all remember that. So this was a surprise to see that it's been 5 years in the making already. So with that in mind, there is a possibility, I guess, that this could come out this year. I feel like, though, much like with Fable, they'll give the Coalition time for this too, because I think, again, that the year is so stacked with releases from first party. They have no real need to put this out this year. You know what I mean? They really don't. And they'll have more of a prime, to borrow a name from you, a prime time next year, really, in putting it out, honestly. So they don't really have there's no real need to get this out this year. And seeing how GTA is going to dominate later in the second half, I don't see why they would. The only way I can see this being put out is if it comes out maybe in the summer. That would make sense then, because they can get enough of a player base to get in on it, get the multiplayer side going. If it's I guess combat against each other, which I'm assuming they're going to put into the game. I'm going to guess.
would imagine it's gonna be your typical your atypical Gears release. It's gonna have a multiplayer and a single player for sure.
That's what yeah. So it almost it almost feels like this is some type of standalone project outside of the main thing in a way, you know what I mean? But I'm sure they're going to have all the bells and whistles. So I'm of the mind that, and they stopped working on past Gears multiplayer years a year or two ago, I believe, right? So yeah, all of that focus is going on there. So yeah. Also, by the way, how many people would work at the coalition now? The team of what, 300 or 400? 400 maybe?
You know what? I could look. Let me, give me a second. I'll look up on their
300
LinkedIn.
plus, I believe.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's Mr. Gears, so he would know.
So yeah, they have more than enough people to get this churned out and with quality, because we know they can do what they do. The coalition, right? Top of the cream of the crop, top of the top, as far as that engine work goes. So yeah, I don't know. It's a possibility. I can't dismiss anything. I think with us having that much time known that's been worked on, that E-Day has been worked on, it's a possibility it could go this year. I wouldn't rule it out all the way. I just feel like next year makes more sense, especially considering, well, we don't know enough either, so I can't quite say that, but next year seems like we don't have a direct understanding of everything releasing next year, and they're stacked already this year. So Fable and E-Day of next year, that would be crazy. So I don't know. We'll see, man. I just again, I'm still of the mind of take your time and get it out there when you get it out there. That's where I'm at with this. But it is good to know that they put that much work into it. This is another title where I kind of thought maybe this would be a next gen launch, and it seems like that might not be the case for this either. It might be next year as well, if not this year.
It's going to be something else. Crispy Bomb, I want to bring you immediately back in. I'm looking at the LinkedIn. According to this, it says that they have at any one point between 201 and 500 employees. They don't specifically say 300 or 370 or 380. It says literally entertainment providers, and they're in Vancouver and British Columbia, between 201 and 500 employees, Crispy. Now, look, again, it's just a suggestion. It's a thought. I want to get your opinions on this. Does a Fable delay, one of what is expected to be one of the biggest Xbox game studio releases, you're going all the way back to OG Xbox, bringing an IP that needs to cook, needs to hit day one, and it looks like they're there. Personally, based on the footage we've seen, to me, they're there. Give them the extra time. It's not a problem. We saw how that worked out with Avowed. Avowed, when it was first shown, combat was a little bit, wishy-washy, a little floaty, didn't have that oomph. And what do most people like about Avowed besides the graphics? The point-to-point combat. It feels satisfying, feels good, feels real. Well, Fable officially moving into 2026. Now we have some space. Now, what is that space going to be filled with? Call of Duty? Possibly, right? That's definitely going to be in there. Oblivion, expected to be in June or July. What else could fill this particular void? Because remember, we don't know what the second half or the last 6 months of the year looks like. I have a feeling that it's going to be Gears of War E-Day. I know some people are going to push back on it. What are your thoughts, Crispy?
I'm actually with you on this. And this is because I feel like, we've all been clamoring the Phoenix collection. And it drives me nuts that it's still not, been announced or anything like that. But I also feel like, that's where I say, it's at least 300 people that are in that dev cycle of the coalition. But also there's probably another amount of people that are in the Microsoft / Xbox A team. Remember?
Yes.
Remember? Everybody gives me hate for this. But if Phil said I didn't bring in the A team on Redfall, And he specifically said the coalition. Okay. So I'm just saying, like, the coalition can cook as long as they want, and we're going to be good with it because at the end of the day, like, you look at Gears 1 to Gears 2, it was a 2-year cycle. Okay. Like, we're talking like 5+ years in what we're experiencing right now. And also, like, I almost feel like the coalition helped with Avowed. I really do. Like, the immersiveness that it gave me so far is up that alley. That doesn't mean it's the same game. They're just that good. And that's where I say, like, you know what? E-Day technically will be like the prequel of prequels. You understand what I'm saying? And that's where I go and say, okay, like, so let's say on the 20th anniversary, you bring out Phoenix Collection.
Yes.
That's
that
not a
makes
bad
more
thing.
sense, right?
That's not a bad thing. And possibly, I mean, I'm going to throw it out there. They might say in 6 months, PlayStation gamers, you'll get it. Fully polished, everything else. Because they want them to experience something that at least some of them have never experienced. And understand that, you know, like, just like Fable, all in third person from what we've seen so far, right? I play Avowed in third person. I love Gears because it's third person. It has a cover-based system that is unmatched from any game I've ever played in third person. Not first person, I'm talking third person. So I go and say, why not give them something that they've never... You play Doom, you play whatever you can on PlayStation. You have not experienced a fucking Gears. Sorry for the language.
That's
but
all right.
You haven't.
Drive that point home, sir.
You have not experienced Gears the way it is. And I'm talking the original trilogy. 2 is my favorite. Some people say 1. Some people say 3. That is a debate that I will not argue with, because I love Gears and I love all 3 of the original titles.
Yes.
Judgment is for a different, you know, like, I'm not hating nobody. It was the multiplayer that was the problem.
Yeah,
but
it was. Single player was really good. I enjoyed the story.
E-Day seems like they're trying to bring the nostalgia, number one, okay, because they did that in the trailer, but also the graphical fidelity that they have contributed to the gaming community for decades, it feels like. Okay. And on top of that, understand that we need to make something new. And I think it is like, if that's the reason they move Fable out, so be it, because you're going to see it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, GTA will have its fandom, but Gears will always have its fandom as well. So we're not talking about the same realm. They're not the same realm. Gears is very strategic. You can hate the wall bouncing. You can love it. Once you embrace it and understand that you can just pivot this and that with just some strafing, you will understand that it's not that big of a deal. You just watch them bounce around like a freaking moron, and then you just shoot them in the head as soon as they come at you. It's not that hard. Okay? Like, I've played PC players. I played all this. Remember when, oh gosh, darn, crap gamer. Oh, I got the Gears tattoo. I told you that, you know, I can't play against PC players. Well, guess what? All you got to do is make sure they don't get the damn goddamn long shot. Okay? Sniper, long shot, whatever you want to call it. That's the point. All right. If you're playing multiplayer, hey, you're playing against a PC person, don't let them get the long shot. That's the way it goes. But that's that game. Boom probably don't know half of what I'm talking about, but that's okay.
I do know about the long shot because I stopped playing Gears because of it. Because every time I walked out,
I agree with you. I understand, and I understand where he's coming from, but that doesn't mean that you can't throw it to the curb and be like, no, I'll just throw my shotgun in your face and you're going to be dead before you get that damn thing. That's the way I roll. And that's
No,
where
I
I
mean,
say, like, Gears of War E-Day is going to bring this visceralness. And I
yes.
think it would be logical to bring it out now because I feel like the FOMO is starting to build up. Avowed is building that FOMO. Hey, this person gets it in Game Pass. Hey, you could play it on PC. Hey, I can't play it. The FOMO is starting to build up with Xbox games.
Yeah,
And I
it
think
is.
Gears of War E-Day, not releasing anytime soon, not saying it wouldn't on PlayStation, would be a big deal to the people that are on the cusp of saying, you know what, maybe I should grab an Xbox Series S or X and get Game Pass. I'm just saying.
Listen, it's a great point of view. Look, so far, I think we've already knocked it out of the park. This is one of my favorite shows of the year so far, simply because we have the breaking news. We got new visuals of Fable. You can kick chickens. A lot of people are very excited about that. Craig Duncan mentioned specifically about the British humor. I know Jamie was concerned about that. Where a lot of people, it's going to return. Jamie, I gotta get your hot takes on this Gears conversation that we're having though, because cart before horse or horse before cart. What do I mean by that? So there are people in the chat here that do not believe the Gears of War collection exists. Folks, I'm here to tell you it does. The reason why it does is because of multiplat. The reason why Xbox is putting their games everywhere, not something I would have signed off with 10, 5, even 5 years ago, 2 years ago. But this is the big business of gaming, right? Ballooning budgets. So the reason why I believe it exists is because if they're going to release Gears of War E-Day on a PlayStation and potentially on a Switch too, they don't have any correlation to what happened in the later Gears, right? There's no context. So that you may not get a lot of sales. Now, maybe there are some people on PlayStation that were Xbox 360 gamers, sure, maybe some of them, but that's not all of them. So when I say cart before horse, Jamie, I mean, so what exactly could happen? The rumor is that we're getting multiple Gears projects. We know what those two projects are. It's E-Day and the Marcus Phoenix Collection. How and what makes sense in the release schedule? Well, Fable's been officially delayed. That leaves the fall open for something. Now, Gears of War E-Day is a prequel. Gives you all the backdrop to not only who Marcus is as a character, but Dom, their friendship, how Gears started. You released that this year. Next year, for the 20th anniversary, celebrating the 25th anniversary of Master Chief and the actual brand, the platform of Xbox, you put out the Gears collection. And then at that point, it's in order. You got Gears of War E-Day this year, Gears of War, the Marcus Phoenix Connection next year, and you got your prequel and your 1, 2, and 3 done in Unreal Engine 5. It makes sense to me. Does it make sense to you?
Chronologically, that would make sense, but to me, I'm on the opposite side of the fence. I think that you'd put out the collection first to generate hype for the new, multi-$100 million Gears project, E-Day.
I love it.
And E-Day coming out in 2026 alongside a new Xbox. Like, really think about it like that for a minute, because Xbox Series X and S launched basically without any launch titles, and they were hammered for that. So, like, what would go down better? A collection of older games that were either remade or remastered, or a brand new shiny Gears of War E-Day. So
It makes sense, sir.
That's where I am with that. And plus, I don't even think that Gears of War in general may be the only game Microsoft has for later this year. I honestly, like, Fable, that's out of the way now.
Right.
I've been saying this for the past year. I'm still saying this. I think Clockwork Revolution comes out this year.
It's a good one, dude.
Oh,
I've been saying that all year. Yep.
It was announced with gameplay almost 2 years ago. They've been quiet ever since. All we hear from In Exile, brilliant studio, is they put out the best memes on Twitter. So, like, they've been heads down, memeing and making games. So, like, to me, I'm saying Gears of War collection and Clockwork Revolution.